Seat is one of the brands with the, at the moment, youngest customer groups, and that might also be a reason why the brand is still surging, whereas other brands are rather standing still. And today we're going to have a special Seat episode focusing, for example, you can see it right now here at this marvelous setup, at the Seat Leon with Seat Leon generations. We've done a similar video on the Golf generations, and you have asked us, hey Thomas, can you also do it with the Seat Leon? Yes, we can. So we're going to compare all three Seat Leon generations as a normal version and as a Cupra version, as the horsepower strong versions. And we're also going to take a look at the Seat Ibiza, the new one, and the very, very old one, the first one there was even before it was named Ibiza, and also give you more insight into the Seat production and where the brand is heading to, and also about the future of automotive production. But let's start now with a very interesting overview. How has Seat, especially this Leon, developed over the last decades? Let's go with this episode on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars, with Thomas in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go. So a short making of, guys, here in this high berm on the old racetrack, and this is Cornelius, my photographer for today, or cameraman, and Jordi has been driving us up there. So how is it driving here the berm?
Well, a bit sick until you get used to it, but very exciting as well.
And you told me you've also ridden the same one in Monza.
It's a very similar one, very similar angle and very similar speed you can go through it, and very similar age, to be honest, almost 100 years. So it's nice to be in such a nice ambient.
So I hope you never, go up the hill and then maybe launch away like a rocket.
No, not the last 20 centimeters.
Great driving, thank you.
Thank you.
So now you can see how steep it really is, really crazy. So this scheme here with the horizontal stress of the headlights and the front grille, we've seen that in very modern cars, and you can see it, it has been used before. Before there was the first Seat Leon, it was called Seat Ronda in the compact segment, and then in 1999, the first generation here of the Seat Leon was introduced. And Donde es Thomas? Where is Thomas here today? We're on the secret Terramar. It's an old racing circuit and a great setup here for our cars close to Sitges. So, hola, ¿qué tal? Greetings to our Spanish viewers, especially because we got the Spanish brand. And this 1999 first Seat Leon, well, first of all, I think it's really remarkable that we have got those horizontally drawn headlights. But other than that, you see that more round shapes are prevailing. For example, also at the side mirrors, and you can see here the side, there's no real design line on the side, just the door handles, same than were used at the Volkswagen Golf. And then also the round shape here in a, let's say, coupe style, 5-door version. And this was the major difference to the Golf, that here the Seat Leon also had this very round rear, and for our today's design tastes, it looks almost bulky. And if we take a look at the rear, relatively big taillights we can see here, and the, well, you know, the rear window, see, it's very flat. And this combination, it doesn't seem harmonic to our modern design view, but of course you see how the design changes over time. Big Seat logo here, and you can flip up the trunk with that one. We'll soon go to the interior part as well. But what do you think about this first generation Leon? 4 meters 18 was the length, so a little bit shorter than the current 5-door Leon. And it was in 2001 already when the first Cupra version was launched. This one here is very special. First of all, those comp structure front grille. This is the difference to the normal version. Looks a little bit more aggressive in the front already, and it says here at this historic plate, which is, you know, just for design purposes, V6. And this is really something special. I can already open the hood as well. 2.8 liters of displacement with the V6, and it was still the time where you had more displacement and less turbo. Interesting functionality here, how the hood is opening. And 204 horsepower, you can also see it, you know, this beautiful engine cover that was used, and still naturally aspirated. So before there were those EU regulations and that pressed the manufacturers to using turbos, but lower displacement, you know, to get the CO2 figures down on paper, at least. So this one here, surely a lot of fun to ride. 17-inch aluminum rims, and well, the rear is not changed that much. Just another exhaust here for this V6. Let's listen to the sound. So while the first generation Seat Leon was based on the Golf 4, this one here, the second generation, is based on the Golf 5 or also Golf 6 if you take it that way, because it's basically the same generation with the Golf. So Seat Leon 2, this one here more had a van style shape as you see it right now, and it's really significant that we got a big plastic part in front of the hood, and also see the hood is very flat and all rounded up. This one here is the FR design line. That means it's not a real Cupra version, but just design-wise, already in a sporty way, all with bigger 18-inch rims in sporty style, also with this stronger side pillar here, the spoiler, and 4 meters 31 was the total length now. So it means got a little bit longer than the first generation. So this one is the longest 5-door variant of the Leon so far, because it's even a little bit longer than the current version as the 5 or 3-door. And special for this version was, maybe Alfisti know that one, no, Alfa Romeo cars here, the rear door, you can open it right here. Nowadays it's again here the door handle, but this one here was this special new feature which had the look as it would be a 3-door variant, but still a 5-door one. And now to the rear, Leon 2, you see it's the roundest shape ever that we've seen with the Seat Leon. But the taillights have already been drawn horizontally, so this is a progress that leads over to today's design language. And the FR version has also remained until today as the sporty variant without more horsepower under the hood. And then there was also the Cupra variant in 2 versions. This one here, the Cupra R, with even more horsepower. I'll soon show you more under the hood. Here again, with the comp structure in the front grille and also the stronger lower parts and already bigger alloys. You see the rims, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Here, 19-inch then. And the normal Cupra variant here for the second generation, that was with 240 horsepower. And this one here, the Cupra R, was then with 265 horsepower. But now already from a 2-liter turbo engine, so the naturally aspirated engine is gone. And that's it, how it looks like in this setup. And you can see there's not so much difference from the FR and the Cupra variant here from the rear. It's really more about the exhaust. Now the current generation, Leon 3. This one has been on the market since 2012. 4 meters 26 is the length, so a little bit shorter in this 5-door variant than the outgoing model than before. This is the first time that this one was also available with a 3-door variant and also a state version that we're going to show you very soon again. This one here is already the recently facelifted version in 2016 with more chrome on the front grille, changed bigger front grille, especially in the FR version, and a stronger front design line here on the hood. You can see the full driving review with AJ here on Autogefühl. We'll also link it in the video description about this 2016-2017 Leon facelift. And you can also see it right here. The headlights have been changed, LED, now even stronger, and this very agile design. And this has been the current Saeed design language introduced here with the Leon, and also will be featured on the other models. And you can already see it right now here. Rims have gotten even bigger. This one is still 18, which was reserved for the Cupra before that one in a 2-color scheme, but it can go even bigger meanwhile. And if you follow it on the side profile, this has been really significant that we got those sharp design lines also at the side profile, because nowadays it's possible to stamp those doors, you know, in the production process the way we can see them right here. And you can see that the basic shape has remained relatively the same over the Leon generations, with the rear window and also the rather round shape in the rear. Just the headlights here again, a little spicier than before. And I think also my most favorite rear in the Leon generations. It was not only the SC, the 3-door variant, but also the Estate or Combi version, the ST, that was firstly introduced with the 3rd generation of the Seat Leon. And we can see it right here in the Cupra version. It started in the 3rd generation with 265 horsepower, then 280 was the alternative, and meanwhile 290. We can soon also take another look under the hood. But first of all, to the front, big comp structure grille, headlights in a sharp design, and also stronger lower part with the sensors here in the front for the assistance systems. And if we continue to the rear, what is always very interesting is that the design line here in the front is discontinued, kind of cut up, and then there's the second one a little bit higher, continuing all the way to the rear. And that is even more stressed here with the Estate, which is obviously, this matte paint is really loved by some flies here today. 19-inch rims, very massive. And then another look under the hood with the TSI we got here, also with a nice Cupra design. And by the way, of course, the 3rd generation of the Leon is based on the 7th Golf generation. And meanwhile, you can very well differentiate the Cupra versions, also, let's say, better differentiate here in the 3rd generation because of the rear diffuser, even bigger exhaust pipes on both sides, and the Cupra logos are also bigger here. The name and also the checkered flag symbol has become bigger and bigger over the generations. Interior comparison, first generation, simple key, but already with electric function. And then let's get inside. You can see this is how the first generation looked like, and you can already see this is really Golf 4. But interesting is we got a 2-color combination and pretty good side support for the seats. And you see the steering wheel is very plain, very flat. And of course not a big infotainment screen and such. And you can really compare the most interior details with the Golf really. And let's experience the first Leon generation right here from the interior. Wow, the door, look at it. It's reaches so wide here. I can almost not reach it. One of the things they have fixed over the generations. You can already fix the steering wheel in all of the directions, and basically you have a lot of space for a compact car, even when you're a little bit taller. Enough room above my head, and it's really, let's say, a standard seating position. This is a seating position that has been really pretty long time the standard for a compact size car. You feel especially spacious here over this area because it's very wide open. And my favorite thing is really the infotainment system, because this was a special version that already had a GPS, and look at this 90s graphics design. So old school, and therefore it looks almost funny to us. Let's get in the rear. So it is the shortest Leon generation, and you do feel that hardly fits here with the knees. I also hit the seating with my head. And will this change here over the generation? That's the big question. But for a compact size car, it wasn't really unusual at that time. But Leon and Golf had a very well usable trunk at this time. You can see it here, very good asphalted dimensions, not too much losing of space here, the right and the left, and here's still a full replacement tire. And the Cupra version, how is it different? Well, they have used more leather. I'm not really sure if it's animal skin or leather red, but it's really a little bit disgusting how when this gets old. So not really nice, and also the cloth on the inside. This car looks older than the other one, and so I'm not really that satisfied with the Cupra style here. But the basic idea of combining fabric on the inside and then later leather on the outside, we will see that one on the new generations, and that has worked out very well. So the basic idea was really good. And then we also have the sportier steering wheel with the perfect structure at the sides, and also the gauges you can see with white background. Sport seats with a lot of side support also in the rear, and even here someone was supposed to sit or could sit here, but I'm not sure who that should be. Second generation Leon with a key that could also be used on today's cars. And then a more modern cockpit for sure. Better qualities on the seats, and also the steering wheel has this flattened bottom in the FR version now, and different materials are being used. For example, also here, very interesting with the structured plastic, even softened up a little bit. So they've stepped up the game in the interior build quality here. That's it what we see so far. But the question is, does the space remain the same, or is it even more spacious? And the interesting thing is, you maybe remember it from the outside. This car, you had this, let's say, van style appeal. How does it change also what we can see in the interior? By the way, the steering wheel is easier to move when you want to control it. Manual seat setup for putting the seat here higher or lower. Altogether, I feel the seats are more comfortable, also more accentuated, and you get a sportier seating position in a way. However, you could see that the front was very flat, and we can see it right here that the pillar here, the A pillar leading towards the B pillar, that is really low. That means I don't have so much headroom left, so that's less than in the previous version, especially with this small panoramic roof here. So that's at least the result in the front. And also due to the flat windscreen, there's a different view to the outside. And then the infotainment system is of course bigger than before. And here You also have more possibilities. You can also switch around to some, for example, aux in, and also can connect your phone already and have a real map here for the infotainment system, for the navigation. So this has mainly changed and will of course be evolving over the years even more. So what about the rear? And I told you earlier, the van design and also the car was a little bit longer, and that you can feel also here for the rear passengers. First of all, knee room, still got some space in front of my knees. That's really nice, better to sit here. And well, headroom wise, it's also, especially if you put your head a little bit higher here, because it's going rising upwards a little bit. So you can better sit here, especially in the rear for the rear passengers. That's more comfortable, more, well, let's say, roomier. So this is the biggest difference here in the second generation. Second generation trunk, still spacious. I wouldn't say it has changed so much, but in the height it did. So because the rear window is not that falling steeply, so we have more space in the height, especially if we would remove the cover. So this is what has changed. And you can, for example, also flip the seats. That's, possible in basically every generation. Just to give you an impression of that one. And we have a small step here, 2/3, 1/3 split. And the Cupra variant of the second generation is featuring sport seats with an integrated headrest and a lot of side support. See it right here with white contrast stitches. However, here in the full animal skin equipment. And also, if we move forward to the steering wheel, flat and end again, with, well, it should be aluminum style, but it is a plastic and perfect structure on the outsides. And you should remember this second generation here. If we move on to the third generation very soon, you will see massive differences in build quality. This is the modern key. You don't need that one anymore. Solid door handles for sure. Then attractive seat combination, fabric on the inside, leather red on the outside. Very frequently used with Seat, also with microfiber on the inside and leather red on the outside. Always when you see the combination, you know it's fake leather on the outside, and that's of course more sustainable. Just when you have the full leather equipment, then it is animal skin. Here also visually very attractive, and also from the comfort part. And the FR version also features a sporty steering wheel and very modern gauges than now. So this is my favorite interior. Is it also yours? And when I take a seat here, what has remained is from the second generation that we have this closer A-pillar when I move my head sideward, but the headroom has gained again in space, although the car looks flatter. Very sporty seating position, sportier than before. Keyless start here, and the biggest difference is of course the infotainment system, recently also updated with the facelift, with more functions, connectivity, and of course also, touch. Sounds here, just only one button left. Everything else you basically do with the touch. AJ has also shown you that one in detail. With this app view, you can also control it now. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is possible, but also still connect via Bluetooth and have this GPS system, which is now also faster in the reaction times when you scroll in it so far. So design-wise, soft and plastics interior, huge step up from the build quality. And what you can see with this interior is really that Seat had moved from a, I want to buy a cheaper Volkswagen brand, basically, to a brand where you say, oh, I consider this brand because of the own brand values and also because of the good build quality in the interior and the sporty style exterior and interior. What about the rear? I think that's even improved if you consider it from the second generation. And this car is rather a little bit shorter in the 5-door variant, but still more knee room, so very good package, and also the headroom has improved. So I think that's the best result so far, and very well possible for 4 tall adults, that's no problem. And in the estate version, that's of course a little bit increased even further. However, I have the feeling that the trunk is a little bit smaller in the third generation. in the normal hatch variant. But then again, you have the ST version if you want a bigger one. So, what about the interior here for the ST version and in the Cupra variant? You can see it here. I've talked about the differences here. For example, also the flattened end steering wheel and then microfiber on the inside, leatherette on the outside. This is a sport seat, optional. You can also go with a standard, normal, sporty seat. That will do also just fine. This one here looks a little sportier with the integrated headrest. But I've ridden this one on the latest Leon review from me, and I must say they look great. But the normal sport seats are more comfortable, so I would not pick this option, even if the seat surfaces are also just fine. And the driving review, again, from the normal Seat Leon facelift, also recently by AJ, available on our channel. So overall, I mean, this modern interior, I think I'm very satisfied with it, and it fits to the sporty exterior. And the biggest advantage of the ST version is, of course, here the big loading area, and my favorite thing is really I can also put a bicycle in here, even a loading sill, and you can also very easily flip both sides of the rear seats, the easiest solution, and that would also be the reason I would go for the estate version. And a small sidekick to the smaller cars. First of all, the Seat Ibiza, this is a smaller brother of the Seat Leon, Leon compact segment. This one here, the Ibiza, the small car segment. And this is how it all started, basically, with the small cars at Seat. And you might think, hey, isn't it a Fiat? Yeah, it basically is, because the Fiat 850 was built in 1964. This one then here followed as a batch engineering project from Seat, the Seat 854 in 1966, and was built until 1974. And it isn't, you know, direct predecessor of Ibiza, but it's still the same segment. At least, see, at this time those cars were also smaller. And what is also interesting as for the weight, as this car here, the older one, the 850, is about 700 kilograms. This one here, a modern Seat Ibiza, is about 1 ton, so about 300 kilograms heavier, of course always depending on which engine you pick. And now we're taking you on a trip through the Seat production in Martorell. This is the home plant of Seat near Barcelona. And the automotive production is not about just the steel work anymore. It's also about prototypes and virtual reality, because what you can see behind us is virtual reality you can experience. And we're having it here on the canvas line for you. And because with that one, you can reduce 1/3 of a prototype production time. And joining us is today Xavier Diaz, and he is the head of the prototype department here at Seat. And he can explain us more details of why are you doing this and maybe since when. And we also have this interview in Spanish and German and English, so basically 3 languages covered now. So when are you doing this? When have Seat begun this? Wann hat Seat damit angefangen?
Okay, wir haben so angefangen schon mehrere Jahre. Wenn alle Daten so einen Computer haben, das war so vor 18 Jahren, das haben wir unsere virtuelle Welt so angefangen. Das Thema Brille von der Glasses Virtual Reality Brille, das ist nicht ein Thema von letztes Jahr oder vorletztes Jahr, das haben wir schon in 2003 so die erste Brille so entwickelt, interne, und dann wir wollten so in der virtuellen Welt auch sein.
So they have already started in 2003 with the virtual reality. So even before any customer had any contact to that, and it was only since last year that the virtual reality glasses and also, for example, simple version Google Cardboard and stuff were really coming to the customer world. And maybe some words in Spanish about the virtual reality is that.
Ok, para nosotros fue muy importante empezar con este proyecto. También recordar que recibimos un galardón en el Salón del Automóvil de Barcelona, un premio porque era un proyecto muy innovador en ese momento. Hoy todo el mundo habla, pero te aseguro que en el año 2003 era completamente un proyecto muy innovador.
And what we can see is you can change any design, so you can already see how the Seat Ateca here, for example, how it will look like even before that was the first very car. And you can change colors and wheels and design and stuff. But it's not about the design only, there's also more to that.
Exacto. Para nosotros la realidad virtual ist mucho más que esto. Für uns ist viel mehr der Virtual Reality. Es ist nicht nur so der Design, wir wollen auch die ganze Unterwäsche vom Auto so überprüfen, 3 Jahre vorher, als wir ein Auto bauen. Okay? Meine Kollegen, das machen wahrscheinlich, lassen wir so das Designmodell hier anschauen, wo wir entscheiden, so welche Farbe, welche Stoffe, welche Ausstattung, und lassen wir so die Unterwäsche anzuschauen. Podemos cambiar al otro sistema, al Vismo Cup. Okay, in unserem neuen System Vismo Cup, das können wir auch hier die ganze Unterwäsche sehen. Das müssen wir.
See underneath the car now?
Ja, Sie können so daran denken, das sind mehr als 3000 Teile, das müssen so eine miteinander richtig passen. Das bedeutet, das muss so richtig Präzision. Und für uns ist eine Herausforderung, dass unsere Autos mit guter Qualität und guter Präzision Teil für Teil werden so in virtueller Welt so überprüft, 3 Jahre vorher, als wir ein Auto bauen. Das ist unser Ziel hier bei uns.
So 3 years in advance, they are creating these prototype models, and it's not only about the design. As you can see, we can really look underneath the car, look in every detail. So already here we see more than 3,000 parts, and the yellow part is, for example, the steering column at the moment. You can see it right there, and they can also see there's also those millimeters details. You can really see if this is fitting not only on a design level but really on a technical level, if all parts will actually fit together. And then you can also see maybe is there some friction or not, and then you can really adapt those parts. Maybe so in Spanish as well.
Sí, no es ciencia ficción, es realidad lo que queremos llegar a realizar en un coche. Queremos revisar pieza a pieza, queremos revisar todas las distancias, queremos que encajen bien unas con otras y que el coche, cuando lo saquemos a la calle, pues sea el mejor coche que se pueda conducir. La experiencia solo se tendrá cuando se conduzca el coche y se vea que es robusto en todos sus aspectos. Todo esto lo hemos preparado pues 3 años antes para que cada pieza y cada componente que incorporamos en el coche funcione perfectamente.
Muchas gracias.
Nix zu danke, Thomas.
And here you can see how the prototype process can be transformed into a real actual car, because the Ateca, how it looks like here with the very prominent front design in the off-road style, that was also first produced in the prototype process and then also made as a real car. And this also led that in the after-sales department, so third-party equipment, then you can also get this front bumper. You can order it to make your Ateca even more specialized and present to you in the Paris Motor Show coverage the Seat Ateca experience that might come at a later stage, and this was already inspired here by the prototype department and might then also be reality in the market later on. So you can see how this 3D modeling with the virtual reality, also with the when the developers also take on the special glasses, can really have a massive impact also on what you as a customer can get later on. So we're now going to test this HTC device, because they're not using the Oculus Rift anymore because Facebook acquired them, and that creates a data security risk. And so I don't see you anymore, but you can see on the screen, whoa, there's the door. So you can see on the screen there what I'm seeing. And well, why are they doing this? Because here also you can anticipate what's happening before the car is actually for real. And you can also customize the car more, because in the future people will maybe have to, oh, I have the feeling that the cable is hanging in the door now here, but it's actually not. So in the future you can also customize the car a little bit more, that you have more colors even, for example, for each of the customers. So this will be very exciting development. So is it? Need some help? No?
Ja, es ist besser als im Lenkrad.
Ja.
Genau.
This is a crazy feeling because yeah. So actually my body is giving me two sides of feedback now. So first of all the ones from the eyes and from the glasses here, and the ones I can really feel the steering wheel.
Du kannst sehen links und rechts und hinten.
It's really funny, and I have I mean it's not this is a little bit better now. Oh, there's a Red Bull. I cannot drink it. I cannot drink it yet. Oh, that's really funny. So I can really have a good overview. For example, if I can see through all of the sides of the car. So what they could do also in the development is when they see maybe the A-pillar is blocking the view, they could adjust it, for example, and give the engineers a feedback, for example, 3 years in advance before they can, so you can save a lot of time and of course also money. And what I see at the moment is also some new colors here, for example, red contrast stitches on the seats, and you can also experiment then with maybe other colors of the contrast stitches or other surfaces, colors of the materials. And then you can see, does it really look well, and can we offer that to the customers? And soon there will also be new versions here of the glasses without the cables, and you can even move more freely. And then, I mean, at the moment there's no connection here for my hands, but you can also have those controllers, and with those controllers then you can directly transport what is happening actually in your hands, and that you can also interact with the environment you can see. Okay. So I'm doing some experiments here now with the beverage can, with the Red Bull beverage can, and I can really pick it up and put it somewhere here in the car, see if it fits maybe, or maybe not, and I can...
No, because now we have not the contact.
So for example, here you can also then test where you can put the...
Ja, du kannst nochmal versuchen,
see?
den richtigen Platz.
Okay, and at the moment we don't have gravity on, so I can also switch it then from hand to hand. Oh. Okay, so maybe that's the feeling when you... Well, this shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, now the can is inside. So I think the problem is that I have to put it really straight in. So let's see if I can put it.
Okay, du kannst lassen.
But the can is really one of my favorite features here.
Yes.
Whoa. So what is also very interesting here is with the steering wheel. Yeah. So interesting is that the combination here from the steering wheel, I have the real steering wheel, and then I have those controllers, and so I have basically a haptical feedback also from the controllers in my hand. That is a very interesting feeling. And then the brain also connects a little bit what you can see in, virtually as the hands here, and what you can really feel with those controllers. So that is a little bit mixing with your brain, and it's a good imitation of what is this virtual reality here. And let's see what I can maybe... Oh, there's the can coming again. So I'll take the can. So adjust the mirror here, for example, in all of the directions. And here, for example, I could also see, let's say, if they develop a mirror without a frame, for example, then you could also see, oh, that maybe looks better. Let's put a mirror without a frame. That could be possible. And So put also the sunshade.
No, hier du sollst machen mit dem normalerweise du machst so, ja.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So you really have to imitate the real movement as you would do it also with the sunshade here, for example.
Die Idee ist sehr gut, jetzt wir sind zusammen mit den Lieferanten vor der Optimierung von diesem System.
So let's see if I can
In die andere
open
Seite.
the door.
Ja, genau.
Ah, so I pushed the door open basically.
Genau.
Okay, I hope I won't hit someone.
Ja. Nein.
So, very interesting, and I would say I'll get back to reality. Oh. Hello, I'm back. I'm alive again. And now to our today's conclusion about the Seat Leon generations. For the final shot, we have all three Cupra generations together here. Of course, we want to hear your feedback. Which is your favorite Seat Leon generation? Maybe the Cupra variant or the very normal one. Looking forward to your feedback in the comments there, exterior and interior. I must really say, well, I mean, the naturally aspirated V6, that will is, something very interesting for sure. Other than that, from the styling, I really prefer the most modern one, and also we've seen how the build quality has improved, and we've seen also in our prototype part from the plant how this can evolve more and more, and how cars will get more customized, and how you can even plan everything virtually to improve the whole process. And of course, those very marvelous action shots here from Jordi, our race driver, in the high banks. This one was really impressive. I would say let's enjoy some more of that. See you next time on Autogefühl.